Today, we're at a turning point in automobile history. A turning point where people will embrace a new environmentally friendly car that is a pleasure to drive.
While everyone talks about electric cars and hydrogen fuel cells, 3 Japanese car giants just shocked the world with something nobody saw coming. Toyota, Mazda, and Subaru have joined forces to create engines that could completely change how we think about the future of driving. But here's the twist. They're not following the crowd. What could these 3 companies know that the rest of the industry doesn't? Let's dive into the revolutionary technology that might just reshape everything we thought we knew about tomorrow's cars. The unexpected partnership that changes everything. In a world where car makers are racing toward electric batteries and hydrogen fuel cells, 3 Japanese companies decided to take a completely different path. Toyota Motor Corporation, Mazda Motor Corporation, and Subaru Corporation have each committed to developing new engines tailored to electrification and the pursuit of carbon neutrality. This isn't just another business deal. These companies with completely different strengths coming together to challenge what everyone thinks is the only way forward. The announcement came during a special event called the Multi-Pathway Workshop, where the 3 CEOs stood together and revealed their game-changing plan. They were talking about engines that could run on multiple types of fuel, engines that were smaller but more powerful, and engines that could work alongside electric motors in ways nobody had imagined before. What makes this partnership so interesting is timing. Right now, most car companies are putting all their money into electric batteries or hydrogen fuel cells. But these Japanese companies are saying there's another way, a way that uses the best of old technology with the newest innovations. The car industry today feels like it's moving in only one direction. Electric cars are everywhere. Governments are banning gas engines, and hydrogen fuel cells are being called the future. But Toyota, Mazda, and Subaru looked at this situation and said something different. They said the world needs more choices, not fewer. Toyota has always made it clear in the automotive industry that it prefers hybrid cars over electric cars. The company's reasoning is simple but powerful. Most electricity still comes from coal and gas power plants. So when you plug in an electric car, you're often still using fossil fuels, just in a different way. Toyota believes there has to be a better solution. Mazda brings a different perspective. The company has always focused on making engines that are fun to drive and efficient at the same time. Their rotary engines are legendary among car enthusiasts, but they've also been working on making them cleaner and more efficient. For Mazda, this partnership is a chance to prove that internal combustion engines don't have to disappear and just need to evolve. Subaru's approach is all about practicality. Their Boxer engines are known for being reliable and providing excellent balance in cars. But Subaru also knows that their customers want vehicles that are good for the environment. This partnership allows them to keep what works while making it much cleaner. These companies share one important belief. The future of cars doesn't have to be one size fits all. Different people have different needs. Some people live in cities where electric cars make perfect sense. Others live in rural areas where long-distance driving is essential. Some people want the excitement of a powerful engine, while others just want reliable transportation. Each company in this partnership is focusing on perfecting their own special type of engine, but with a revolutionary twist. Toyota's inline-4 engine is being designed to be much smaller and more efficient than anything they've made before. The company is taking everything they've learned from building hybrid cars and applying it to create an engine that can work seamlessly with electric motors. But the real breakthrough is that this engine can run on multiple types of fuel, not just gasoline. Mazda's rotary engine project is perhaps the most exciting. Rotary engines have always been special because they're incredibly smooth and compact, but they've also been known for using a lot of fuel. Mazda's new rotary engine solves this problem by making it work as part of a hybrid system and by allowing it to run on clean fuels that produce much less pollution. Subaru's Boxer engine improvements focus on making their already reliable engines even better. Boxer engines are special because the pistons move horizontally instead of up and down. This creates less vibration and gives cars a lower center of gravity, which makes them handle better. Subaru's new Boxer engines will be smaller, more efficient, and able to work with electric motors in ways that weren't possible before. What makes all three engines truly revolutionary is what they can burn as fuel. The new engines will be made carbon neutral by shifting away from fossil fuels and offering compatibility with various alternatives, including synthetic fuel, biofuels, and liquid hydrogen. But what exactly are these fuels, and why are they so important? The fuel revolution. The secret to these revolutionary engines is what they can burn. These companies have created engines that can run on 3 different types of clean fuel. Each of these fuels represents a different approach to solving the pollution problem. Synthetic fuels, also called e-fuels, synfuels, and biofuels, are man-made liquid fuels with the same properties as fossil fuels. The amazing thing about synthetic fuels is that they can be made using renewable energy and capture carbon dioxide from the air. The carbon-neutral potential of synthetic fuels when produced using renewable energy and captured CO2 offers significant opportunities to mitigate CO2 emissions. Think about it this way. Synthetic fuels are made by capturing carbon dioxide that's already in the air and combining it with hydrogen made from renewable electricity. When you burn the fuel, you're only putting back the same carbon dioxide that was taken out of the air in the first place. It's like a closed loop that doesn't add any new pollution to the atmosphere. Biofuels are different, but equally interesting. These are fuels made from plant materials like corn, sugarcane, or even algae. Biofuel hydrogen blends improve flame speed and reduce carbon emissions. The plants absorb carbon dioxide as they grow, and when the fuel is burned, it releases the same amount of carbon dioxide back into the air. Again, it's a closed loop that doesn't add new pollution. Liquid hydrogen is perhaps the most futuristic of the 3 fuel types. Hydrogen burns incredibly clean. The only byproduct is water vapor. The challenge has always been storing and transporting hydrogen. But these new engines are designed to work with liquid hydrogen in ways that make it practical for everyday use. What makes these engines truly special is their flexibility. Unlike electric cars that can only use electricity, or hydrogen fuel cell cars that can only use hydrogen, these engines can switch between different fuels depending on what's available. This flexibility could be the key to making clean transportation work for everyone, everywhere. The most revolutionary aspect of these new engines is how they work together with it. Each of the 3 companies will aim to optimize integration with motors, batteries, and other electric drive units. This creates a hybrid system that's more advanced than anything currently available. Traditional hybrid cars use an electric motor to help a gasoline engine, but these new systems are designed from the ground up to work together. The engines are smaller and more efficient, which leaves more room for batteries and electric motors. The electric motors can help the engines run more efficiently, and the engines can charge the batteries while driving. This integration allows for something called intelligent power management. The car's computer can decide moment by moment whether to use the engine, the electric motor, or both, depending on driving conditions. During city driving, the electric motor might do most of the work. On highways, the engine might take over. During acceleration, both might work together for maximum power. The smaller size of these engines also opens up new possibilities for car design. These efforts will also transform vehicle packaging with more compact engines. Smaller engines mean lower hoods, more interior space, and better aerodynamics. Cars can be designed to look more futuristic while still having the power and range that people want. The weight savings are equally important. Traditional engines are heavy, and so are large battery packs. But these new engines are much lighter than conventional engines, which means cars can carry more battery capacity without becoming too heavy. This creates a sweet spot where cars have both the instant power of electric motors and the long range of traditional engines. But there's another advantage that nobody talks about: why this approach could win. One of the biggest problems with electric cars and hydrogen fuel cells is infrastructure. Electric cars need charging stations everywhere, and hydrogen cars need hydrogen fueling stations. Building this infrastructure takes time, money, and coordination between governments and private companies. But these new engines have a huge advantage. They can use existing infrastructure while also working with future clean fuels. Liquid synthetic fuels have a higher energy density than gas and can use the existing network of filling stations. This means that synthetic fuels can be distributed using the same trucks, stored in the same tanks, and pumped using the same equipment that gas stations already have. The transition to clean fuels could happen much faster because the infrastructure is already there. This is a massive advantage in parts of the world where building new infrastructure is difficult or expensive. Rural areas, developing countries, and places with extreme weather conditions could all benefit from this approach. Instead of waiting for charging stations or hydrogen fueling stations to be built, they could start using clean fuels right away. The flexibility of these engines also means that different regions can use different fuels depending on what works best locally. Areas with lots of farmland might focus on biofuels. Regions with abundant renewable energy might produce synthetic fuels. Places with access to clean hydrogen production might use liquid hydrogen. The engines can adapt to whatever fuel is available. This approach also addresses one of the biggest concerns about electric cars: range and charging time. Even the best electric cars today take much longer to charge than it takes to fill up with gas. But these new engines can be refueled in minutes, just like traditional cars, while still being environmentally friendly. The announcement of this partnership comes at a perfect time in the automotive industry. Electric car sales are growing, but they're also facing challenges. Battery costs are still high, charging infrastructure is incomplete, and many people are still hesitant to make the switch. At the same time, governments around the world are setting deadlines for phasing out traditional gasoline engines. This creates a unique opportunity for these three companies. They're offering a solution that addresses the environmental concerns that are driving government regulations while also addressing the practical concerns that are holding back many consumers. Their engines can meet emissions standards while still providing the performance, range, and convenience that people expect from their cars. The partnership also comes at a time when the technology for clean fuels is becoming more mature. Companies are perfecting their methods of synthetic fuel production using renewable energy in the form of electricity from solar and wind farms. This makes the timing perfect for engines that can use these fuels. Another factor is the growing recognition that the automotive industry needs multiple solutions, not just one. Different markets, different customers, and different use cases require different approaches. These three companies are positioning themselves to serve customers who want clean transportation but don't want to give up the advantages of traditional engines. The partnership also allows each company to focus on what they do best while sharing the costs and risks of developing new technology. Toyota brings its hybrid expertise, Mazda contributes its rotary engine knowledge, and Subaru adds its boxer engine experience. Together, they can develop these engines faster and more efficiently than any of them could alone. But what does this mean for the competition? How this could reshape the industry? This partnership potentially changes the entire competitive landscape of the automotive industry. While most car companies have been focusing on electric cars and hydrogen fuel cells, these three Japanese companies are opening up a completely different path. This could force other manufacturers to reconsider their strategies. European car companies like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagen have been investing heavily in electric cars. American companies like Ford and General Motors have also been moving in this direction. But if these new engines prove successful, it could show that there's still a future for internal combustion engines, just not the kind we're used to. The competitive advantage for Toyota, Mazda, and Subaru is significant. they're developing a new category of vehicle that doesn't exist yet. These hybrid systems that can run on multiple clean fuels could appeal to customers who want environmental benefits but aren't ready to commit to pure electric cars. This could also change how governments think about automotive regulations. Many countries have announced plans to ban gasoline and diesel engines, but these new engines could be clean enough to meet environmental standards while still providing the benefits of traditional engines. This might lead to policy changes that recognize clean combustion engines as a legitimate alternative to electric cars. The partnership also puts pressure on fuel companies to develop and distribute clean fuels. If these engines become popular, there will be demand for synthetic fuels, biofuels, and liquid hydrogen. This could accelerate the development of these fuels and make them more affordable and widely available. The technology being developed by these companies has implications that go far beyond just cars. The same principles that make these engines work in cars could also be applied to trucks, ships, airplanes, and even power generation. This could help solve the climate change problem across multiple industries. Heavy trucks and ships are particularly difficult to electrify because they need to carry heavy loads over long distances. Batteries that are big enough to power these vehicles would be incredibly heavy and expensive. But engines that can run on clean fuels could provide the power and range these vehicles need while still being environmentally friendly. The aviation industry is also watching this technology closely. Sustainable aviation fuel reduced air travel emissions by 21% last season. Engines that can efficiently burn synthetic fuels could help make air travel cleaner without requiring completely new aircraft designs. The development of these engines could also accelerate the development of clean fuel production. If there's a large market for synthetic fuels, biofuels, and liquid hydrogen, more companies will invest in producing these fuels. This could lead to economies of scale that make clean fuels cheaper and more widely available. This technology also offers a path forward for developing countries where building electric charging infrastructure might be difficult or expensive. Clean fuels can be produced locally using renewable energy and local resources, providing energy independence while also being environmentally friendly. The success of this engine technology could have major economic implications. The automotive industry employs millions of people worldwide, and the transition to new technologies could create new jobs while also eliminating others. These new engines could help preserve jobs in traditional automotive manufacturing while also creating new opportunities in clean fuel production. The development of clean fuels could create entirely new industries. The partnership could also shift economic power between different regions. Countries that are good at producing clean fuels might become more important in the global energy market. Countries with strong automotive industries might be able to maintain their position by developing these new engines. The impact on oil companies could be significant. While these engines still use liquid fuels, they don't use petroleum-based fuels. This could reduce demand for oil and create opportunities for energy companies to diversify into clean fuel production. The automotive supply chain could also be affected. Companies that make traditional engine components might need to adapt to make components for these new engines. Companies that specialize in electric car components might find new opportunities in hybrid systems that combine engines and electric motors. The ultimate goal of this technology is to reduce the environmental impact of transportation while still providing the mobility that people need. The potential climate benefits could be substantial if these engines are successful and widely adopted. The key to the environmental benefits is the use of clean fuels. Carbon-neutral synthetic fuel can work in any engine and is the ultimate fossil fuel alternative that can minimize your carbon footprint. If these engines run on truly carbon-neutral fuels, they could provide the same environmental benefits as electric cars while avoiding some of the challenges. The life cycle environmental impact of these engines could also be favorable. Electric cars require large amounts of lithium, cobalt, and other materials for their batteries. These materials have their own environmental and social costs. Engines that use clean fuels might have a lower overall environmental impact when all factors are considered. The ability to use existing infrastructure could also provide environmental benefits by reducing the need to build new infrastructure. Building charging stations, power lines, and hydrogen fueling stations all have environmental costs. If these engines can use existing infrastructure, they might avoid some of these costs. The flexibility to use different fuels could also help optimize environmental benefits in different regions. Areas with abundant renewable energy might use synthetic fuels. Areas with agricultural waste might use biofuels. Areas with access to clean hydrogen might use liquid hydrogen. This flexibility could help maximize environmental benefits while minimizing costs. The partnership between these companies represents a completely different vision for the future of transportation. While the world debates electric versus hydrogen, these three companies are showing us that there might be a third path that combines the best of both worlds. What do you think about this bold move by these Japanese giants? Share your thoughts in the comments below.